Olé. Je parle. Nickel. Oh là 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 là. Bon. Ok, tout le monde. Bon bah j'avais un petit problème de micro, mais tout va bien. C'est la technologie. Pardon? Mais ça c'est pas grave, c'est parce que toi t'es ici. Ok, je vois que tout le monde commence à se connecter. Donc, bonsoir tout le monde. Donc, je vais vous expliquer la démarche. C'est pour ça que je vous ai réunis un peu avant. Donc, on va recevoir Buddha Stretch en live ici. Euh, je vais faire en français puisque toute l'interview sera en anglais. Je vais seulement traduire les grosses punchlines ou punchlines, les éléments qui sont vraiment, vraiment, vraiment importants que tout le monde entende et comprenne. Bon, qui est vraiment nul en anglais ici? Faites un petit. Tout le monde parle anglais, on est en 2020 maintenant, hein, c'est bon. Tout le monde sait parler anglais. Mais sinon, voilà, s'il y a vraiment quelque chose de super important que je veux que tout le monde le comprenne, ce sera traduit, pas de panique. Donc, on va aborder deux grandes thématiques. Bon, après, ouais, évidemment, les jumelles en anglais, c'est chaud. Ici, Linda, moi, je suis nul. Bah, les gars, voilà, faut travailler, hein. La vie, c'est l'anglais aujourd'hui, hein. Ça va dépendre de son accent. Ouais, surtout du mien aussi. Le live de Shay est fini juste à temps. Ah, Shay était en live. Il a fait quoi? Il a fait quoi? Les jumes sont mis ensemble. Ok, ça va. Donc du coup, bah, il y aura trois parties. Donc la première partie, c'est l'intro qui va être très courte puisque voilà, toutes les infos que vous voulez savoir sur Stretch, vous pouvez les trouver sur Google. Mais bon, je vais quand même le présenter. La deuxième partie du live, ce sera pourquoi le hip-hop, pourquoi le mot hip-hop, puisque comme vous avez pu voir dans le teaser, il s'est présenté comme la personne qui a donné le nom hip-hop à la danse qu'il pratiquait. Parce qu'avant, ça ne s'appelait pas hip-hop. En tout cas, pas la danse, hein. La culture existe déjà. Enfin, tout ça, il va le raconter. Et enfin, la troisième thématique, ce sera le hip-hop d'aujourd'hui. Comment est-ce que le créateur, on va dire, voit l'évolution et le hip-hop aujourd'hui? Quel est son regard sur la manière dont nous, on pratique la danse? Ensuite, à mon avis, on sera à la fin de l'heure. Il faudra faire une pause Insta, puisque c'est 1 heure de live. Et puis après, on reprendra avec les questions et réponses. Donc, pendant le live, s'il y a des choses vraiment... À ce moment-là, il dit un truc et que tu dis ah, non, 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 il y a un tel qui a dit ça, etc., blablabla, que vous voulez le contredire, n'hésitez pas à le mettre. J'essaierai d'en prendre note. Je ne promets pas que je pourrai toujours tout noter au moment où vous le notez. Vous le dites. Mais je ferai mon mieux pour noter vos questions. Je sais que s'il y a un invité, donc le but c'est que lui parle et de le faire parler. Mais voilà, j'aimerais quand même garder l'idée que ça doit rester interactif, puisque le but c'est d'apprendre. Et j'ai du mal à considérer qu'on peut apprendre simplement en étant assis et écouter quelqu'un, quoi. Il faut que vous puissiez poser des questions et le faire réagir. Et voilà. Encore une fois, comme sur le live précédent, je vais jouer mon rôle et je vais le poser des relances, je vais lui poser des questions, mais ce n'est pas mon avis personnel, ce n'est pas mon point de vue. Je vais essayer de porter une voix de ceux qui sont peut-être pas d'accord avec la manière dont ils présentent les choses, ou voilà. Donc comptez sur moi pour jouer toujours le rôle entre guillemets de l'emmerdeur, quoi. Mais pas dans le but d'emmerder, mais de faire euh, alimenter la conversation, le débat et qu'on apprenne des choses, puisque c'est le but de ce live, c'est d'apprendre des choses. Et donc après, pendant les questions-réponses, ben, on essaiera de lire les questions en live et vous pourrez répondre. Voilà. Ok, merci Serge. So there's a lot of Flemish friends here on the live. So this live is going to be in English. We have three thematics. So the first thematics is the introduction, so the presentation of the guest. The second... Non, Jonesy, tu peux mettre les questions en français, je les traduirai moi-même. The second thematics is why hip-hop, since Buddha Stretch is the one who named the dance hip hop, and it makes some controversy about this fact. So I would like to make it explain and develop why hip hop, and talking about foundation, what is hip hop, and then the third and the last thematics I would like to develop with him. It's what is hip hop nowadays. So the hip hop, how is hip hop lived by young people, new generation, and how does he see the hip hop nowadays? And then afterwards it would be the break, because it's only a 1 hour break. And then after the break, normally, if the timing is good, it will be the time of a Q&A, so question and answer. Some of you guys already asked me some question in DM. That's cool. I already put it into my map of the interview. But if there are some other question you want to ask him, don't hesitate to text me now, because I have my phone with me. I'm with my tablet, so I can still read the DM if I'm not too distracted. It's not easy, but I will do my best. Okay. Like I said in French, the goal, the purpose of this live is, yes, to hear one of the pioneer of the hip hop dance, but it has to still be an exchange. So you have the opportunity to ask some question to one of the first head of hip hop. So feel free. Any question? Any question? Tout est OK? Yes. OK. Bah écoutez, puisque tout le monde est OK, que ça a l'air de fonctionner, on va appeler Monsieur Stretch, s'il est déjà en ligne. Tic, tac, tic, tic, tac, tic. Et il n'est pas encore connecté. Ah ah. Bon. Bon. Je vais meubler, hein. Est-ce qu'il y a encore des questions par rapport à ce que vous vouliez poser par rapport à Buddha Stretch? C'est le moment, c'est l'instant, parce que dès que l'interview va commencer, je vais me mettre en mode TGV là. Et... Bon, Monsieur Stretch, êtes-vous là? Il n'est pas là. Bon, alors, je tiens quand même à préciser, parce que je vois déjà les gens commencent à rigoler, certaines personnes dont je ne citerai pas le nom. Mais, mais je l'ai appelé il y a, il y a un quart d'heure pour lui dire tout est ready. Il dit ouais, pas de souci. Donc, il va arriver, je l'attends. Ah, donc il y a quelqu'un qui demande le thème, mais je vais répéter alors, hein, puisque de toute façon il n'est pas encore là. Donc, il y a 3 thématiques dans le débat, enfin dans l'interview. La première thématique, c'est l'introduction. D'où je vois une question déjà de Goswan. Qui était son rival à l'époque? Je note. Qui était ton rival? Mais t'inquiète, Goswan, tu seras... Ah, voilà l'invité. Tu seras fier des questions que j'ai posées, Goswan, t'inquiète. J'ai joué mon rôle. Ok, let's go. Buddha Stretch just tune in. So, let's go. Let's call him. Tic, tac, tic, tac.
What's up?
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Buddha
Sorry
Stretch.
for the short delay. I had a phone call. No worries though.
No, it's okay. I had small delay too, so don't worry. So, hello, Mr. Buddha Stretch. Happy to have you in my live Instagram. So, for those who don't know you, let me present you quickly. So, you was born Emilio Austin Jr.
Yes.
In the end of the 60s in Brooklyn, New York City.
Yes.
And you are one of the founder of the crew Moptop with your friends Henry Link, Loose Joint, and
Khalif.
Yeah, Khalif, yeah. And later Ijo, I think.
Yes.
And later you will create the Elite Force crew, and you are the man behind the Michael Jackson moves in the music video Remember the Time in the 1991. And also,
1992, actually.
yeah,
Myself and
1992.
Fatima Robinson.
Ah, yeah, my mistake.
Yeah, it's all
And
good.
you're also the choreographer of Men in Black, the choreo. We all
Yeah, Men
know.
in Black, Getting Jiggy with It, and my
Ah, getting jiggy. So the na 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 na,
yeah,
it's you.
Will
Oh
Smith.
gosh, I
Yeah, I
didn't
did
know
3 of
that.
his videos.
Oh, so je pense que tout le monde entend, donc tout le monde se rappelle de le Getting Jiggy with It. So it's he is a choreographer. So my first question is a pers personal question.
Mhm.
So what's the difference between Moptop and Elite Force Crew since it's barely the same members? I want to know.
Well, originally Moptop wasn't a crew. Originally Moptop was a mantra that some things that my father said to me that I put together to, you know, to it was something that he had told me that I needed to uh, do better and do all the time, no matter what I was trying to do. If I was going to rap, if I was going to dance, if I was going to do art, I had to do it the best. I had to go all out, you know. And Mop Top was a mantra that using some of the words that he told me. And Mop Top stands for motivated on precision towards outstanding performance. And
Okay.
so that was a mantra that I had from my father. And then when I hooked up with Khalif and Link, Khalif was like, "Nah, that's that's our mantra. That's the crew theme. That was our theme. So everything that we did, that was our motto. It was really our motto behind it. And then slowly but surely, as we all started to hang out together and we danced together, we worked together, and people started to associate us as the Mop Tops, and that was like the not even the crew name, but the clique name. It wasn't just us. It was myself,
Okay.
Loose Joint, Link, of course, Khalif, his brother Ramir, Wichaway Shah, um, my man Peter Paul,
Yeah.
a friend of mine, my boy Ari, Ade. It was a bunch of us, the Misfits. We all ran in the clubs together. We all hung out together. We worked on different jobs together, and so
So, Mr.
everybody
Stretch.
associated us as one big family called the Mop Top.
Okay. So
And
it's
then later we became Elite Force Crew with myself, Link, and Loose Joint when we did the video for Remember the Time with Michael Jackson.
okay. So Moptop is like you said. I have to translate a little bit. Some
Yeah.
of the viewers don't understand very good English. So the Moptop, les gars, c'est plus un mantra comme il a dit. Donc une philosophie autour de laquelle ils se réunissaient. Et Elite Force Crew, c'est vraiment plus le crew de danse. So Elite Force is more the dance crew, and the Moptop, like you said, is the mantra.
Yes.
Okay. And another personal question. Your name is but a stretch, but
Hmm.
what's the story behind this nickname? Because I think people never know. I researched on the internet and I didn't have the answer.
Okay. Well, I've said it a few times in a couple of interviews in different places. People ask me. Um, when I started dancing in 1982 with popping and breaking. And
Oh,
the friend of mine, my best friend in high school, his older brothers who introduced me to hip hop. At the time, I didn't know that the dance, the DJing, the MC, all of this was one thing. And my good friend Danny, his older brother was an MC. His name was Professor P, and he introduced me to a DJ named Professor Paul. And we were thinking of dance names, and my best friend's dance name was Danny. His real name was Danny. His dance name was Prince D. And our other
yeah.
friend from high school, his dance name was Snake. And so Professor Paul, uh, in his house, his friend said, I stretch like a slinky when I dance. So when we
A
were trying to think,
slinky.
Yeah, a slinky is an old toy, a coil that
Okay.
when you make it walk like that. So he said
Ah,
I
yeah, yeah,
stretch like
yeah,
a
yeah,
slinky.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we were thinking of dance names, so I picked Slinky. It was Prince D, Snake, and Slinky, which sounds ridiculous. So then I remembered what, the guy said, stretch like a slinky. So then I picked Stretch as my dance name. And it was
Okay.
Prince
It's
D,
better than
Snake,
sneaky.
and Stretch fit together.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
the Buddha part is because I'm a Buddhist. My father
Oh,
introduced
I
me to
didn't know that.
Buddhism when I started hip hop. I was like 17 years old, and he introduced me to Buddhism, and I was studying Buddhism for from that point for about 8 or 9 years. And then I started to travel and read and learn more about Buddhism. And then I started to teach my father about Buddhism. And so he started to call me Master Stretch. And of
Oh.
course, I said, no, I'm not a master. I was only in my 20s. I was like, I don't master anything. But it's my father, and, he's who named me. So he said, I'll call you whatever the hell I want. So, Khalif knew that I was uncomfortable with the whole Master Stretch thing. So Khalif said, I'm going to call you Buddha Stretch. And I was like, oh, okay. I like that. And
So
that's
it's
how I got the name
so
Buddha
Caliph gave
Stretch.
you the nickname, Buddha.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go in the first thematics, would you? So mathematic, I named it Why Hip Hop. So in an interview I found on YouTube, you said you the reason this dance was called hip hop.
Right.
Can you tell us more about that story? Because I think there's a lot of controversy about that fact.
Well, it's just, I don't see any controversy in it. What happened was we were doing this thing here in New York. There's a annual thing at this place in Brooklyn called Brooklyn Academy of Music. And when we started dancing, we used to dance at a nightclub called Union Square. And our manager, God bless the dead, her name was Michelle Ann Travis. She worked at Brooklyn Academy of Music. And when we did our rehearsals and practices, we practiced at Brooklyn Academy of Music. And so one of the people there asked us, well, what kind of dance is this? What do you call this? And I told him hip hop, and the reason I said that is because we were all, prior to doing what we call freestyle hip hop now, we were all poppers and b-boys. And everything that we do comes directly from that culture. So that's why we called it hip hop. But more importantly, we called it hip hop because we only did this dance to hip hop music. If you played a different music, we didn't dance the same way. If you played dancehall or reggae, we danced dancehall and reggae. If you played house, we danced house. We dance based on what the music said to do. And so we called the dance hip hop because it went with the music. It was the representation of the culture at that time. And at that time, breaking was dead.
Breaking was dead. Can you tell us more about that fact? Because I see there's a lot of b-boy in this live, so maybe they don't know.
No, they don't. And if you look back in the States, you won't see any b-boying around 1986, 1987, 1988. When you see hip hop videos and music, and you hear the music and you see the dance, they're not breaking. They're doing hip hop because breaking was dead at the time.
So what do you answer to a guy like Popping Pete from Electric Boogaloo? He said in an interview from Strive TV that the
Mm-hmm.
original dance hip hop is breaking. What's your argument to state that you were doing hip hop while you were not a b-boy? You
I
understand my
am a
question?
b-boy.
You are a b-boy,
I
but
started
yeah,
I
I
started
didn't know
with
that, so
popping and
I learned
breaking.
something.
I started with popping and breaking. My crew was called the Grand Floor Wizards.
I didn't know that,
Flatbush, Brooklyn.
so
Yes.
history. But
This is
but he
before
said
Elite Force. This is before Moptop. This is before any of that.
so you were a b-boy, and then you dance social dance, and then you said this is hip hop. So there were
Well, wait.
no
Let
dance
me
called hip
explain to
hop
you.
before you.
Let me
Yeah,
explain something to you. Hip hop is the culture.
yeah.
Okay. The first form of hip hop is breaking. Okay. But Breaking is a social dance.
Breaking is a social dance.
Yes, it's a party dance. What do you think the
Okay.
part? What Cool Herc is doing is a party, and the b-boys didn't battle each other first. They danced with the ladies first. Then when the break came on, that was the go-off time. So
Okay.
before it became a style, it was just a party dance. It's a social dance. So all
I
of what
didn't
we
know
do
that. Les
is
gars, can I pause a little bit because it's very
yes, yes,
important fact
no
that you
worries.
said. So, les gars, je ne sais pas si tout le monde comprend ce qu'il vient de dire. Donc, il vient de bien préciser que le hip-hop, c'est bien une culture, ça on est tous d'accord, et que la première danse était une danse sociale, et c'est le breaking. Est-ce que tout le monde est en train de suivre? Donc, il vraiment précise les choses. C'est breaking est la première forme de hip-hop et c'est une social dance. Ok, unpause.
Yeah. The thing about it is everybody's calling everything party dance, social dance, but they're not understanding what that means.
Yeah.
Connotation of social is the interaction between people. You know, a party is a social event. You know, a wedding is a social event. You know, a bar mitzvah is a social event. And that's where the dance is about. It's an exchange of information. It's how you meet people. And through the dance is how I've met all the people that I know all over the world. But it's all social dance. You know, that's why people tend to look at things like they want to put everything in, you know, this is this, this is that, this is that. Everything is interconnected. Nothing is separate. Okay, everything is connected. So breaking is the first dance. That is, you know, there's no argument there. What we come in is when breaking died down, that's when hip hop came in, or freestyle, out of respect for breaking. And then
Okay,
through
Mr.
freestyle, we
Stretch,
brought breaking back.
Mr. Stretch, we have just to state it and grab it in a marble and say
Right.
that breaking is the first hip hop dance. Do
First
you agree
form.
with this sentence?
Yes,
First
it's the
form, you
first
said.
form.
Why do you say first form and not first hip hop dance?
It is the first hip hop dance, but you have to understand that it's a form of hip hop dance. There's more than one. So the first form would be breaking, the second form
Okay.
will be freestyle, and now the third form is called light feet.
Oh, it was not in the map, but I want to know more about this. Why do you say light feet is a form and not a dance?
It's
I think people have to understand the difference between a form of hip hop and a hip hop dance.
well, no, what you have to understand is the connotation used in form. It's dance form. Okay? It's how you it's the terminology to explain things that are the same, are part of the same culture, but have a slight difference in movement and representation. So to use an example, if I say salsa is one form of dance, mambo is almost the exact same thing. Why are they called
Okay.
different? Because salsa has a different a change in certain steps that mambo didn't, but it's basically the same thing. Okay, and then if you move from there, some of the steps from salsa go into hip hop, breaking, top rock, and it's the same
Okay.
thing as if I say, if you discuss breaking as a form, okay, one part of breaking on top, the original way, top rock. Before they went to the floor, breaking was up top. Then it went to the floor and stayed. Then it merged back together. Now you have top rock and floor rock, but it
Yeah.
started on the top.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what we're talking about, dance forms, not form as in formation, but a dance form. So the first form in the culture that you see is breaking. The second form is what we do, which is freestyle. And the
Excuse
last
me.
form now is light feet.
Excuse me, but there's some troll in the live. It's putting some comments, and sorry. Okay, I have to keep it serious because people are joking on the live.
Ah,
Sorry.
that's all right.
It's okay. Okay. Thank you. There's a very precious information because you're stating something I didn't know, and I'm more than 30, and you can still learn. So thank you for that.
No worries.
But so, how do you respond to people who said you shouldn't have named this dance hip hop since hip hop is the culture that make confusion?
That's a dumb statement.
Repeat, please.
That's a dumb statement.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
what do
you.
you
Next
call
question.
salsa? What do you call salsa? The dance.
uh,
Salsa.
for me, salsa is a Latin dance, right?
Okay, it's a Latin dance, but it's named after what? The music.
Yeah, after the music.
Was
Yeah,
it called salsa the dance first or salsa the music first?
I couldn't
Salsa
agree
the
more.
music, because the
I couldn't
dance
agree
does not
more.
exist without the music.
Okay,
Two halves of
so
the same coin.
so if I said to b-boy guys, what you dance on? You dance on break. That's why it's called break dance or breaking.
Hmm.
Am I right
Okay,
in
but what
this
if you
logic?
play let's play what is Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em by Eric B. and Rakim. Is that a break beat?
Oh, it's a dish, right? No, it's not a break beat. It's more like
Okay,
a
let's play Raw by Big Daddy Kane. Is that a break beat?
I don't know these tracks. I'm sorry.
If you listen to
But
these
I can
tracks, you'll
research. I can
hear
research. I can
if you
research
listen to these
directly.
tracks, you'll hear break beats, but you'll hear
Yeah,
somebody rapping on top of them. Is it hip
yeah.
hop or is it not hip hop? It's still hip hop.
It's more like if it's rapping for me, it's my point of view. But I'm nobody. But my point of view, if it's rapping, it's hip hop.
And that's my point. It has the break beat with a rap on top of it. Is it still a break beat?
Okay,
Is it rap? Is it a break? Is it hip hop? It's all of the above. It's moving the
okay,
culture forward. You started with just a break. Nobody was rapping over the breaks. Then they started rapping to the breaks. Then they started rapping to original music. Now you have breaks in the form of electronic music. That's called trap. It's still a break beat. It's just an electronic break beat.
the trap is an electronic beat for you,
It's
breakbeat
an
for you.
electronic breakbeat. If you listen to trap beats, you'll hear it's just slowed down. It's a different time signature, but it's still a breakbeat.
Okay, so knowledge here.
I
So much,
teach
so
all of
many
this in
information.
class.
Yeah, but you're in New York City. We're in Belgium, bro.
Well, no, I mean, this is before the quarantine. I was in Europe. So I teach
Where?
all over, and this is how I break it down in the class. I'm
Yeah,
playing the
it's very
music and
important.
explaining how the dance goes with it, because that's what people don't understand. They're all
Yeah.
looking at things from one standpoint, not understanding that as a cultural, from a cultural connotation and context, the break beat is everything. The break beat is the beat that's underlying. So if you start with the break beats in the 70s, they weren't rapping over the break beats yet. They didn't record them yet. The first
Okay.
hip hop record, the first rap record rather, that was recorded is called Rapper's Delight.
Yeah,
They're
and
rapping over a disco record called Good Times.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
what part did they rap to? The break.
The break, yeah. And the music from Grandmaster Flash, the message. How
Mm-hmm.
do you define the music behind?
Now, the music behind Grandmaster Flash, the message, will be defined as funk.
Funk, yeah. So it's rapping on funk music.
Yes, but that's the
So if
beauty.
you,
That's the beauty of the culture. You can rap over different kinds of music. There's funk,
yeah,
there's classical, there's R&B, there's jazz. You can. That's the beauty of it. All it is the rap on top of it with the bottom beat, which is the break.
okay. So we have some OG in Belgium that said that they start hip hop dance in '82.
Mm-hmm.
Is that possible?
Yeah, that's when I started.
Okay, so but you didn't call that hip hop in '82. You were
No, we
popping and
called it
breaking. You
breaking.
said breaking. Okay. So what's the characteristic of hip hop? You know, Boogaloo Sam defined popping like that dance that make you say pop, pop, pop every count. So
Hmm.
have you got a describe for hip hop dance in the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The creator of the song that we use as a description, his name is Vaughn Mason. He literally just died last week. So God bless him.
Oh,
But he made a song
rest in
called
peace.
Bounce, Rock, Skate, Roll. And
Bounce,
we use
rock,
that to
skate.
define what we do because those are the techniques involved in the dance. You bounce, you rock, you skate, which is to glide or slide across the floor.
Yeah, that's why.
You roll, you wave, you hop. These are all techniques that are
Okay.
part and
Can you
parcel of this dance.
explain? Can you please explain the viewers what's the difference between between glide and oh, sorry, Netherlands,
Mhm.
glide and slide?
Well, what it's the real differences in the application of technique. In a glide, you're going to use your
Les gars, prenez des
like
notes, hein.
like ballet on point. You're
Yeah.
trying to get your feet, your foot, the incline of your foot as high as possible. On a slide, you're just sliding on the bottom of your foot. So it's the
Okay.
application of the technique that decides or defines the difference between the two. A slide is really simple. You slide and drag your foot to the side. A glide, you would slide also, but you're lifting your foot to create an illusion of levitating across the floor. So it's the
So
difference in the context of what you're trying to do.
okay. So if I define, I go to my hip hop class, and if I have a student who said, "Okay, what's hip hop?" I will just say bounce, rock, skate, and roll, and that's enough. That's
No,
accurate. I mean,
no. You would tell them hip hop is the dance, the one of the forms that represents the culture. And in that form, you use the bounce, rock, skate, slide, because those things are not just for hip hop. There's a bounce in locking. It's different than the one in hip hop. There's a
yeah,
bounce. Well, it not. There's the boyoing in breaking,
yeah.
and in breaking you do the boyoing, which is one bounce, but then you also rock, which is another technique. So there are multiple ways of doing it. It's the application of it. You're just those things are just used so that you know what you're looking at. It's a definition of the action that you're doing that represents the dance.
So bounce, rock, skate, roll can be named foundation simply.
Well, yeah, it's the technique of the foundation of the dance is really simple. The foundation of the dance is the music. You're not if you're not going to do these dances. Okay, if you do the running man, then it's hip hop. But if you do the running man to an EDM, then it's the shuffle because it's a totally different feeling and technique, but it's the same movement.
Okay, you jump it to another topics, but we get to what you said afterwards because I have some specific question about this new wave and new vision about the hip hop steps,
Mm-hmm.
dancing on the new music. So I have a last question in these topics. What are the so you barely answered to it, but to be accurate, what are the specificities of the way you dance basic steps? You took the running man. What's the difference? You barely answered, but just to be clear, what's the difference between a running man and the shuffle? More than the music.
The
So if you don't,
application of the technique.
the
On the shuffle,
yeah,
there's no bounce. The
there's
shuffle,
no
you're just
bounce.
running with your feet. The
Yeah.
running man, you are rocking it, you going up and down and back and forth, which is a bounce and a rock. They don't do that in the shuffle. They're just shuffling their feet because
Okay.
the music is
So
not giving you that movement, that feeling. You're not going to do this. You're not going to go up and down. You're not going to twist it and you're not going to add things to the shuffle because it's just a shuffling of your feet. In the running man, there's multiple variations of it. And the technique for the running man has always been up and down and
up
back
and
and
down.
forth.
Bon, les gars, tous ceux qui tada là en français, vous avez vu que c'est ce que je vous raconte depuis le début. Hein. So sorry, I have to shut some mouth in the commentary. But yes, so we can say that the bounce and the rock are the specific ingredient that make the
Yes.
steps hip hop steps.
Yes.
Okay, so we agree on this.
Yep. I've been
Just to
teaching
be,
that in class for 25 years.
yeah, and I believe you, but. Trust me, if I ask this question, is not my point of view. I ask you question to make the conversation and grab the information. It's not what I think. It's maybe I know what question to ask to
Right.
have
No, I
the
understand.
answer. I
But
do
you
it
want to
just
get
the
out.
journalist. You know the game I'm playing. So um, we'll maybe before to jumping in the next thematics, maybe if there are some question. I see what is groove. Oh, come on. Okay. There is somebody who's saying, I don't know if it's serious, but we have to take all the question. What is groove?
Okay.
Have you got this definition of grooving?
Yes. Okay. So if you look up
Prenez des
the
notes, les gars.
the English definition of a groove, it's okay, look at, if you can see my hand, this
Yeah.
line, if you look up the definition of groove, it's an indentation in my hand. So that would be a groove, that would be a groove, that would be a groove. On a record,
Okay.
vinyl, let's see if I got one here. On the vinyl,
Yeah.
the groove is defined as the lines on the record.
Yeah.
And would you put the needle to the
Yeah.
groove, which is in the center of it. So,
Okay.
as defined in the dance and how I teach it and define it, the groove, you have the metronome in the music, which is 1,
Yep.
2, 3, 4,
3, 4.
5, 6, 7, 8, which is in 4 counts.
Yep.
And then you have the rhythm. Now, the rhythm is totally different than the metronome. The metronome is here, but the rhythm is.
Yeah.
The groove is how you bring these two things together, which is that's what you're doing. You're in between the count and the rhythm.
The rhythm, yeah.
Okay, your groove is the key, is what's in between the count, which is the metronome, and the rhythm, which is 9 times out of 10, the drums, the break.
Yep. So there's somebody had asked that what's the difference between I get that question a lot, huh? But what's the difference between groove and flow?
Okay. Flow is how do I explain this? Flow is how
tricky
you
question.
Want to flow is how you want to well, it's defined by how you want to express the music. If the music, okay, if we use a beat that's really fast, that's really hard, your flow can be really hard, or your flow can be really soft.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the person, your personal.
Yeah, your flow is how you want to speak. Okay, we'll use it in language. Some people talk really fast and they want to have a lot to say. Some people talk really slowly and they want you to get every word and understand the dialect, dictation, and everything that they're trying to say. So your flow is how you speak. The groove has nothing to do with your flow. The groove is constant. Okay, the metronome never goes away. Okay, this is constant, and then there's always a constant rhythm in contrast with the metronome. So your groove is always in between then, but your flow is how you dictate how that groove goes.
Okay.
Because your flow could be different than the next person's flow to the same music.
To the same music and the same rhythm.
Exactly.
I say to my student, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right, because we're here for learning. I say the groove, in summarize.
Mm-hmm.
The groove is the music on me, and the flow is me on the music. How
Perfect.
do you? Oh, but it's not my sentence. I have to give credit. It's Karim Belach. I think he's online.
Okay.
Karim Belach, who told me this sentence, and I think I have to give him credit about
Big ups
this.
to
This
Kareem because
big up to
it's
Chris.
absolutely, that's a really good analogy and explanation on how the difference between groove and flow.
Donc les gars, I say it in French, les gars, donc pour tous ceux qui se posent encore la question, vous pouvez retenir simplement, le groove, c'est la musique sur moi, et le flow, c'est moi sur la musique. C'est ton interprétation sur le même rythmique. Tu peux avoir un flow différent. Okay, thank you for this thematic. So let's jump on the third thematics, and it's a hip hop nowadays. So my first question would be, if the hip hop music has changed, would you agree to say that the dance has changed too?
Of course. The dance has always changed. I mean,
But it's still hip hop.
of course, the music has always changed. The music in the early '80s, hip hop music, is not the same as the music in the mid '80s, and the music by the late '80s and early '90s is not the same as the music in the mid '90s to the late '90s. The
But there
music is
was,
in a constant state of change because it's a living, breathing thing. The music represents the people, and the people are changing, so the music is changing. Everything is changed. Nothing stays the same.
okay, but there was always something in common between the hip hop from the 90s and the hip hop for 2K of the mid of the 90s. There was always the boom bap. So what the boom, clap, boom. You see between Wu-Tang for the first, like the 36 Chambers, and I don't know, don't want to say some crap, but maybe like, let's take Will Smith,
Right.
Men in Black, because we were talking, this is a boom, ka, boom, ka. There's always has a boom, ka, and a 1, 2,
Right.
1, 2. But now when you take what we call hip hop music nowadays, like you can see Future, you know, yeah, of
Right.
course, you know, the rapper Future.
He's from Brooklyn.
Sorry.
I mean, sorry, he's from America. I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes I forgot that you you actually are in New York City. But yes, somebody like Future and music like so there is no 1, 2 in the music anymore, but it's still hip hop.
But there
First
is
question.
a 1, 2 in the music. It's just a different time signature, the different rhythm. The what you're doing is you're counting the boom bap in a simple time signature. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're doing boom, bap, boom, bap. But now you're doing boom, 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 boom. So this, the signature is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So it's a difference in rhythm and timing. And it's not just now. If you look back, Ludacris didn't always rhyme to boom bap. Neither did Outkast. And neither did several kinds of music. I mean, Timberland became famous because he flipped the time signature in music.
Yeah,
So
right. That's right.
It wasn't always boom bap. It's just that was the prevalent at one point in time. But it's always on the 2.
But yes, that's funny. Now that's very good that you quoted Timberland, a specific signature. Is that well, my question was the dance has to change too. But there was one question of my boy Maxime who said, "So, what do you say about hip hop dancer who bounce a little less because the music are not boom bap anymore? So the bounce is more like smaller."
But it's just again, it's semantics, because the bounce changes with the tempo of the music. Okay, when you said flow and groove, the bounce can be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's called timing. It's called timing. Okay, the timing. It goes back to the metronome and the time signature. So you're here, or, which is double time, or
Okay.
That's triple or half or slow-mo.
Yeah, yeah. Boom.
But it's still,
Yeah.
the metronome is still here. So you're
So you
changing the
want to
timing.
see, so as a hip hop, like if you're a judge, you want to see the bounce. Whatever the hip hop music is, you want to see bouncing to be hip hop.
I want to see you bounce. I want to see you rock the beat. I want to see
Yeah.
you apply the technique to the music. So even
Yeah.
if you're waving, it still has to be in the music.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah,
okay,
that's
because
very
if you're
clear.
just waving, then what makes this
Yeah.
different from a popper?
Yeah. I
Okay,
got you.
what makes it different from a popper is the rock and the bounce.
Yeah.
Poppers
That's
don't do this.
pretty light,
Poppers
light
don't
and
do
clear.
this.
Light and clear.
Poppers don't do this. They do that.
Yeah.
It's a difference in timing and movement and technique. So if
Yeah.
you're adding different, using different techniques, how does it apply? How does it represent in the context of hip hop? You got to have the two most important elements or techniques involved to identify it as hip hop: the bounce and the rock. It's just like with popping. If you say you're popping and there's no hit and you're just waving, then how is it popping?
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Okay.
You
So
but
that's my thing. You need to see what defines the dance.
yeah. But you talked about Timberland. And it's funny that when Timberland came into the game, the hip hop, what we called at the time hip hop dance, for me changed a little bit. We saw like choreographer like Marty Kudelka or all the Los Angeles choreographer dancing.
Wrong.
Okay, I see you nodding. It's not hip hop.
Wrong.
So
Okay.
when
First of all,
yeah,
Marty Kudelka's not from Los Angeles. He's from
yeah,
Texas.
it's from
Okay.
what?
Second of
It's
all,
from
that style
Slovenia.
that everybody identifies as LA style is not from LA. It's from New York. The person that brought it to
Already.
LA, his name is Darren Henson. He's the choreographer who did Britney Spears, who did J-Lo, who did
Yeah.
before Marty Kudelka, he did the what's his name? Justin Timberlake, when he was still in sync. So that
Yeah.
style is not from LA. And that choreography, that whole line of movement does not come
Yeah.
from Los Angeles.
But this choreography you saw on the old Timberland tracks, and
Mm-hmm.
for you, you don't consider it like hip hop.
Of course it's hip hop.
So Matthew Kudelka choreography is hip hop.
No, Marty Kudelka's doing choreography. Okay, Marty Kudelka started. Okay, you using Timberland, but when did Timberland start? With Marty Kudelka or before Marty Kudelka? Because Timberland produced
Yeah,
Aaliyah and Missy and Genuine. This is
for
years
sure.
before Marty Kudelka. He was still in Texas. He wasn't even
Yeah, yeah,
dancing
for
yet.
sure.
So you
Yeah, for
can't
sure. But
define
the
the
way
dance
the
by one choreographer. You got to define it by the culture and the
yeah,
representation of the culture. When you see Aaliyah's videos and you see the music behind it, the choreographer behind that, her name is Fatima Robinson, the same person that I did Remember the Time with. The
yeah,
dancers
yeah.
in that
Remember
video
it.
was Swoop, Goofy, Punch. They're all hip hop dancers. They used to dance for MC Hammer first, and Swoop did part of that choreography also. This is all to Timberland. Okay, when you see
Okay.
Missy Elliott, who's Timberland's first production, all of her choreography was done by one of the original hip hop dancers from my generation. Her name is Hi Hat. She's
Hi, hat,
still
yeah.
a famous choreographer now, but she's a hip hop dancer and was there from the beginning. So
Okay, that's
Marty
very
and all these other people, they're not even from LA. That's the craziest thing when people say, "Oh, it's LA style." It's not LA style. LA style is the Soul Brothers. LA style is the Groovers, which is a group from Los Angeles, which is I can't even remember. Divine Styler there's so many dancers that are actually from LA and have their own style that people don't know of because they're not looking past what they've seen commercially.
Yep. So the way I said Matthew Kudelka because is when I was a starter,
Right.
It was the choreographer we wanted to have in
Right.
every, yeah. So that's why I said Marty is not a
No, I
diss,
understand.
is
I'm
not a,
just
you
using
understand
that
what
as
I
a
say?
reference. Even before
Yeah, a
Marty,
reference for this. Yeah,
yeah, before Marty, the choreographer that everybody wanted was Wade Robson.
yeah, Wade Robson.
Okay.
Yeah,
He
actually,
did.
actually, I start with the TV show Wade Robson Project.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
before that, but
Rich
that's
and
what I'm
Tone
saying.
and
Those
yeah,
their two styles are based off of the style before them, which is from Darren Henson. And Darren
yeah.
Henson's not from LA. He's from the
He's from New
Bronx.
York. Okay,
Okay.
so
He started as a B-boy and a popper.
so when a choreography is done on a hip hop tracks, but only with lines and no bounce, no rock, this is not hip hop.
It's not hip hop.
Okay.
If it doesn't represent the culture, it's not hip hop.
Bon les
Okay,
gars, tout le
hip
monde prend
hop is
note,
from
hein?
the
On soit
hood.
d'accord.
Okay, hip hop is from the inner city. So the
Yeah.
whole urban thing is people trying to, they want to label their dance something other than hip hop because it doesn't represent the inner city kids and the culture that comes from. That's where you get the term urban dance from.
Yeah, because there was somebody who asked me in the Q&A on the DM that's you can define the difference between urban and hip hop, but you just said it. Urban is just the need to label
Yes.
something like hip hop, but not hip hop because it
Well,
doesn't
put it
represent
this
the
way. They
structure.
use urban as a terminology to define the scene of dancers who are not from the hood, who are not from the inner city. Can
Okay,
those kids be a part of the culture too? Yes.
Yeah,
They don't live the life of a hip hopper, but they
yep.
still love the culture. So they need to call something associated with it, even though they are not part of hip hop culture like MCing, breaking. So that's their terminology. They use urban dance.
Okay, I have a question. Somebody said that Damien said when is a choreography considered as hip hop, and he said never. But I think you answer it. It's considered hip hop when you have bounce and rock. Am
It's
I right?
considered hip hop when you have hip hop vocabulary.
Ok,
Okay.
Damien, est-ce que ça répond à ta question?
Okay. If I do locking choreography and we don't lock, is it locking choreography? If I do popping choreography and there's no pop, no twist of flex, no walkout, no animation, then is it popping choreography? Is it
That,
punk
so,
choreography?
that
No.
sounds logic when you say it, but I have to ask all the questions. It's that we
No,
are
no,
here
no.
for.
I understand.
Yeah,
I'm just
but thank you
explaining it
because you're
more for the
very
people
pedagogic and
that maybe don't understand. When
yeah,
you
yeah.
see hip hop, you know what you're looking at. You know what the dance is because you can identify it. When I do this, you know that's a wave. Why? Because you've seen it before as a wave. You know that these are tuts and boxes, and you
Yeah.
know what you're looking at. So if you're looking at hip hop choreography and you don't see things that you can identify, how is it hip hop choreography? It's
Yeah.
lines and shapes. What do those lines and shapes represent? It's all
That's
about
very accurate.
representation. You're representing the culture.
Okay, but would you say in a way choreo has helped? Okay, please. Wait, I just read question online. Would say choreography help? Oh les gars. Hop, or made. Yeah. Damien, je poserai ta question à la fin parce que c'est pas vraiment dans le sujet, mais je la retiens. Ça va? So, I think you answered the question about your. Okay, so how would you consider hip hop that you already barely complete the answer, but how would you consider hip hop that's out in the famous worldwide studio? Is it okay that we called urban? Just
Mm-hmm.
urban. It's okay for you, this
Of
term.
course.
Okay.
We did. I mean, I did it in video with some dancers from the urban community. It's on YouTube. We had a discussion about this. I've covered it a couple of times. If you look up the English definition of urban, it means inner city. And
Yep.
some definitions, but prior to now, it used to mean ghetto. Okay, but now when you
Yeah.
think of in urban, you think of outside of the city, outside of the inner city. And that's why they use that terminology, because it's connected to the culture, but it's not dead center in the culture. So that's a literal term that they're using to connect with the street while not being street.
Okay, that's very delightful. But okay, so let's switch in the when you judge choreo competition.
Mm-hmm.
When you judge choreo competition, when the first time I met you, it was at the UDO in Scotland 2 years
Right.
ago, like I told you.
Right.
And when you judge uh, choreo competition, when you have to give marks in a technique, what are you looking for, especially? What common mistakes do you spot?
First of all, in the choreography competition, they're judged on performance and technique, or technique is defined under skill. So when I'm looking from the technical standpoint and the skill level of it, okay, if you're doing choreography and in your choreography you're using b-boy movement, are you dancing into the b-boy movement? Do you do a windmill and crash and get up and then go into the next move? Do you hold the freeze? Okay, if we're doing house, are you jacking or are you just hopping around and is the application of the movement, the vocabulary, how is it supposed to look? If you're locking, is the roll here or are you just doing that? Is the point here or is the point like that? If you're
Yeah.
popping, is the pop here or is the pop like that? That's how I'm judging. I'm looking at your technique on the application of the vocabulary from the particular style that you're using, not just your lines. Your lines and movements are judged with the skill and the performance. Your lines look good in formation. Formation is part of performance. So
Yeah.
that's how I'm judging. I'm looking at how you're going about showing what the dance is. I'm also judging your rhythm. How I judge across the board has always been the same: rhythm, technique, vocabulary, creativity, character, performance. And so rhythmically, are you in the music? Are you just following
Yeah,
the
but
metronome, or are you
there.
showing musicality, which is not just following the music, but becoming a rhythm inside the music?
Okay, but please, there you are describing how you judge a choreo
Mm-hmm.
contest. But my specific question is how you judge the technique marks. Like your answer is very important, but your answer of the whole
Well, I
choreo.
started with the technique. I said, if
Yeah,
you're
but
doing, if you're
you went
doing
too far.
okay, let's
Okay,
go back.
okay. My question is, how do you define hip hop technique? You already did it, but in the competition, very, how you can like a teacher, you have to spot common mistakes because you're a
Right,
teacher. So you know when you learn to draw like a
right.
L, you know that people gonna okay. So in the hip hop teaching, you know where the specific mistakes. So that's why I ask in the choreo competition, because we are in the mind that we have to judge. So
Well,
what the common mistakes you have?
that's why I'm going in the choreo conversation, because in the choreo contest, it's not just hip hop. That's why I started with breaking, then I went to
Okay,
popping, and because in the choreo they're going to do multiple styles,
multiple style,
and
yeah.
you're judging it based on the same thing. So if they're doing hip hop and I don't see a bounce or a rock or wave or hop in the context of the dance, or shake in the context of the dance. These are techniques that I'm looking for. So if you do a hip hop step, if you do the Harlem Shake in the
Yeah,
contest, and you do this, that's not the Harlem Shake. You're shaking your
yeah,
elbows. The shake is
yeah,
in your body, in your torso, and in your shoulders and your elbows. So that's a
yeah,
technical way that I'm looking at it. How are you doing it? If you are sliding across the floor, are you sliding or are you gliding? Remember that?
yeah,
Are
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
applying the glide or you just sliding across?
Yeah, but
What
I
is the
see
move?
people are smiling on the live, but I'm pretty sure most of the, 90% of them don't know the difference between glide and slide. I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
listen, that's why I'm going through these things specifically, because in a choreo contest, that's what you're looking at. People are going to be doing different movements and tying them together. The tying them together is called a transition. How do you transition from a breaking move into a house move? How do you
Yeah.
transition from the floor to the top? So
Yeah.
that's another thing that you got to look at in the choreo contest from a technical
Uh,
standpoint, is a transition also from movement to
Mr.
movement.
Stretch, I have to do a commercial break because the Insta Live gonna shut down. So we're going right back, okay?
Okay.